Now I want to include some quotes in my newspaper report. So I'm going to quote Zoe's mum and Zoe. So let's start with Kathy Black said, and then I need a comma before opening my inverted commas. So if speech or quotation is in the middle of a sentence, always use a comma beforehand. Said, what might Kathy Black say? She might say how delighted she is that Zoe's returned. She might say how worried she'd been before. And she might also comment on Zoe's bravery and how proud she is of her. So let's start with when I saw Zoe. And that's a subordinate clause, so let's have a comma. When I saw Zoe, I was, what could we write? Delighted, or perhaps an expression. Let's have I was over the moon. And let's have an exclamation mark. Now let's write a sentence emphasizing that Zoe's mum had been worried, so perhaps I feared I had lost her forever. And now perhaps let's have a sentence on how brave she thinks Zoe is. So we could have, not many children would have had the courage to do what she has done. And then let's have an exclamation mark to finish that sentence. And we need to remember to close inverted commas. So Kathy Black said, rather than just Kathy Black said, let's add some description. So Kathy Black, Zoe's mother, or perhaps say how Kathy Black's feeling. Let's have Zoe's delighted mother. So now let's read that through. Kathy Black, Zoe's delighted mother, said, when I saw Zoe, I was over the moon. I feared I had lost her forever. Not many children would have had the courage to do what she has done. And now let's have a quote from Zoe. So we need to start a new paragraph to show that a new person is being quoted. So let's have Zoe said, comma before our inverted commas. What might Zoe say? She might say how relieved she is, and she might also, I think, compliment Munchkin and say something like, I couldn't have done it without Munchkin, because we know that Zoe's a very humble person, and we know that she's very fond of Munchkin now as well, so she might want to compliment him. So let's start with, I am so relieved to be back home. And now let's have a sentence where she says, but I could never have done it without my friend Munchkin. And then we need to remember to close our inverted commas. But I could never have done it without my friend. Well, Munchkin's now been adopted, so let's have my friend and now my brother, Munchkin. And perhaps we can include a relative clause to say what Zoe's doing now that she's back home. So Zoe, who is, what might she be doing? Well, I think she'd probably be taking a rest. So let's have Zoe, who is now taking a rest after her journey. And we need to remember to put a comma at the end of the relative clause if it's in the middle of a sentence. Zoe, who is now taking a Let's have a well-deserved rest after her. And let's think of some adjectives to write to describe her journey as well. Could say her difficult journey, a tiring journey, perhaps her arduous journey, because that suggests that it's both difficult and tiring. So arduous and exhausting let's have as well. So let's read that paragraph back now. Zoe, who is now taking a well-deserved rest after her arduous and exhausting journey, said, "I am so relieved to be back home, but I could never have done it without my friend and now my brother, Munchkin." So now we've included quotes, we can write a concluding paragraph to our newspaper report. And the final paragraph of a newspaper report either reflects on what's happened or suggests what could happen next. So let's think about what might happen next. Well, I think the family would spend some quality time together. Perhaps Zoe and Munchkin will start school soon, and I'm sure both Zoe and Munchkin will help look after baby William. So let's write, the Blacks now plan to spend some quality time together. Zoe and Munchkin will start school next month. I wonder if we can combine those two sentences. So the Blacks now plan to spend some quality time together. Let's use a conjunction before Zoe and Munchkin. We don't need will if we've used before. Before Zoe and Munchkin start school next month. Now let's finish by writing a sentence explaining that Zoe and Munchkin will be excellent role models for baby William. Both Zoe and Munchkin will be excellent role models for baby William, and let's have for many years to come. And let's emphasize this last sentence. So let's say one thing is for certain, and then we can use a colon here. So that colon basically means, so we've got one thing is for certain, colon. The colon is basically used instead of saying, and that thing is. So let's read through back this concluding paragraph. The Blacks now plan to spend some quality time together before Zoe and Munchkin start school next month. One thing is for certain, both Zoe and Munchkin will be excellent role models for baby William for many years to come.